Okay, thanks very much for being here. My name is, you see it on the left, Matthias Knappe. I'm from an international organization which is called the International Trade Center. I'll give you a little background in a minute. We have three panelists that all talk about some inclusive business practices and how they do this. And we have from the left, it's from Ethiopia, it's IEUP, from a company, Desta, which you see downstairs. We have Narinj from Madagascar. Her stall is over there, just there, Anaka. And you see a nice bag she's doing. And we have Dan Lamichani from Nepal. And their store is just over there. And they do cashmere. So I said I'm working for an international organization called the International Trade Center, which is a joint organization of the WTO and the UN. We support developing countries in trade promotion and export development. We do this in many sectors of importance to developing countries, but textiles and clothing is a sector very much important for many countries, and of course for the audience here. And we work with textiles and clothing, but mainly with apparel companies all along the value chain. If you know the smiley curve a little bit, showing the apparel value chain, so we work with them, with companies, including these companies, on production areas, the traditional kind of stuff like quality, productivity, lean manufacturing. But we work also with them a lot on pre-production, because some of the companies we work with do CMT business, so we help them to move up to FOB, to full package, through material sourcing, product development, design development. And then we work with them also a lot on the post-production. So our traditional mandate to help them to find new clients and new markets. And that's why we brought them here to see what they can do in the UK market. The program actually is financed by the UK government from the FCDO, the Foreign and Commonwealth Development Office of the UK government. They provide funding in trust to ITC under a program which is called the UK Trade Partnership Program, to support some countries, and in these countries, some of the manufacturers. What we of course do, and what's the subject of this panel, is we work with them a lot on sustainability. The social part, including different stakeholders, not only the workers, but also stakeholders in the value chain, and on environmental sustainability, resource efficiency, energy, water, chemicals, but also a lot on recycling recently. And if you would like to know a little bit more about what we're doing, we also have a kind of a learning platform, which we call Textile Academy. It's globaltextileacademy.com. It's free. We have a lot of different sources, including learning material, including e-learning on topics like circular economy for textile, lean manufacturing, costing and pricing, material sourcing, understanding fabrics and yarns. So have a look if you want to learn a little bit more what we are doing. But let me now go to our panelists, and I would like to start with Narinj from Madagascar, because he has a very special business model. The bags over there, the raffia bags, all organic to a certain extent, no? Not
yes.
all. But you also work with your workers are all women, and you have a very special business practice of working with women in the cluster, but also with women all along the countryside in Madagascar. So how does your business model work, and how do you ensure that these women get a fair wage, that they are treated correctly, so that the working environment is okay, and that they are part of your business model, so they are part of the enterprise? Maybe you can give us a little more insight how this works.
Yes. Let me introduce myself. So my name is Narinj Robin. So I'm a Malagasy from Madagascar. So I'm the owner and the founder of Lana L'Atelier, who specializes in techniques of woven, of braided and crochet, and the natural fabric that you can find in Madagascar. My goal doing this business is just to provide, independence to those women. So I work mainly with women in my company, and as Matthias said, my business model is just working based on those women who don't have any baggage, so I can teach them, and they have this opportunity to have work, because in Madagascar, not all of them have the chance to have education. So this is really a challenge part, because other companies hire just, through the background that they don't have. So I make sure that they're really independent at the workshop, because we have 200 artisan women at the workshop. So they have, everything, cares for the children, education, because they are women. So in Madagascar, it's patriarchal family. So women should stay home. So I give them independence to be able to make their children go to school. So I give education for the child as well. And they make sure that they always have work. With the training I give them, they always have work during all the year. It's not like just going for one shot, one month at the workshop, but they make sure they always work during all the year. I also work with 2,000 women around Madagascar, because their specialties in different around Madagascar. Like for example, in the south, they're for more palm trees. Southwest, we have the raffia, who specialize in Madagascar, and on north, another kind of palm tree as well, and the techniques. So they work from home, but they have this ability to be independent, not to go to the workshop every day. So they have this always as well too, the education for their kids. So I make sure that they have this. And I create my NGO as well, Lana Anaka, which means Children of the Sunshine, to make sure that have, all the benefit, like they have the support for the children, they have food, to make sure, because they don't have any money. So even few money they have, they don't buy it if they don't send the kids at school. So I make sure that they go there. And the kids are the future. Without education, without the learning from the mother, it's just worthless. So yes, so basically, yes, with ATC, that I'm really grateful to be the part of this program. We had this chance to be present in England, in the show in England, to attend like now for 3 years, and we could see the success that brings us, to being here, because we expanded now from 200 work women. Now we expanded for the next September a workshop we can, welcome 1,000 women. So this is really a big success we do have through ATC and this help. So yes.
Can I ask you a follow-up question? So if these women all work, not all, but most of them work from home, how do you make sure the quality of the products is more or less equal?
Yes, so actually we do have, a quality director who goes directly to the villages, and then we make sure that we have molds and techniques, because we have training always before a technique, before bags, for example, during the development, we need to train them, because I didn't tell you earlier, but I'm the one who know how to do the techniques. I'm the one who see with the designers and with the brand what kind of bags we're doing, we develop, and then I go to the villages, to train all the women, to make sure they have the same training. That's why I said earlier, I don't need them to have the skill, because I'm going to train them. And they just need to be, have the ability to work with the hand. And Malagasy people are really, yes, they have this ability. So everyone can work. Every woman can have a job. And then this production goes to the workshop in the capital, where we do have the 200% during all the year. So we do the finishing and the packing and control quality, the final control quality at the workshop before shipping them. Yes.
Okay, thank you. If anybody has a question immediately to her, feel free. I give you the microphone. If not, you can still do the questions later. Then let's move to another country, which is Ethiopia. We have Ayub here. Many of you may know Ethiopia, lots of Asian investments in Ethiopia that look into the UK market, the US market. Here we have an Ethiopian-owned company that's also large. So grown from the roots in the country, not investors, but in the country. And you do traditional kind of manufacturing, but what you wear is what you produce, no?
Yeah.
But you also have very sustainable business practices. So, for example, you told me that there is no waste in your supply chain. Tell me a little bit more, or tell the audience a little bit more about what happens to all this fabric waste, the cut-offs that you produce in your factory, but maybe starting with this 2 minutes about your company.
Thank you. So, as Matthias said, my name is Eob. It's a family-owned business. We started Desta as a manufacturer in 1993, so now 30 years. But about 15 years ago, we diverted from a plastic manufacturing to textile. So we are fully focused on export. So our product has been for the US and European market. So some of the brands that you know in Europe, Springfield, Zara, Courtfield Groups, these are some of Decathlon, as well as others in France, Italy. We have many buyers in Spain as well. So our portfolio of products have grown. So we are involved more in knit and light woven product. Knit is like the polo and the t-shirts that we are wearing, and as well as the knit that we are wearing, that's the sweaters that I have. So sweaters usually have a waist in yarn. The yarns that are used are usually becoming a waste. So for that, we recycle them to the manufacturers of blanket manufacturing. So whatever waste from a sweater production goes to blanket manufacturing. When it comes to t-shirts and polos, the waste are usually the fabrics. What we do with the fabrics, we segregate them in different colors. So red, white, blue, whatever colors that may be, it's segregated and provided to different factories. For example, the waste in fabric goes to, Ethiopia has a large population, so the lower level who cannot afford the sponge mattresses, they use the fabrics which are changed into mattresses. And another thing we do with the fabric waste is mopping the floor. Is again the waste from the fabric is done to the mopping. And we also work with a recycling factory in about a few kilometers from our factory that basically shreds the fabric and turns it into a recycled fabric. So that technology is also used. And that way we try to minimize fabric waste and we try to recycle. But other than the recycling of fabric waste, we also recycle water. In the factory construction we do rainwater collection. So all the sheds, all the rainwater are collected into one point, as well as the toilet waste is also collected. We recycle them. We have a system for wastewater treatment. We then recycle it back to the toilet water usage. And that way the water is not wasted, but we recycle it to minimize wastage of water. And Ethiopia in general is using hydroelectric power. By using hydroelectric power, we automatically go into the environmental friendly electric power that Desta uses to manufacture our garments, as well as other textile factories.
Okay, thanks very much. Feel free to stop me to ask any questions you want. You also have, of course, a number of certifications. No, you told me Global Recycling Standard, REP for the US market, to a certain extent also here, SEDEX, better work certifications. How important are these certifications for you to have market access to the UK market, any market, especially the UK market? And is this enough what you do? Because I think you do much more, because also you're rooted as an Ethiopian company. So what beyond certification you do for your workers and for the environment?
Yeah, the certifications are, we call it a basic requirement for European markets, the SEDEX, the BSCI, other certifications that we have, Ecotex, as well as Global Recycling, JRS certification. But those certifications basically helps the factory to continue to be in the right direction. So we invest in first aid training, firefighters training. This is also important for us as a manufacturer, as a factory owners. So in case of fire, the first responders are the ones who are trained. In case of emergency, the first aid trainers are the first responders. But we also provide medical care for our employees. All workers have free medical care within the factory. A full-fledged laboratory is set up, and a nurse and a doctor is set up so that they have a full medical care and checkup. And we have many women. Total between our factories, we have over 2,500 workers. So a lot of them, or 90%, are women, and there is pregnancy. So the pregnancy follow-up is also done inside the factory where we have set up a full clinic. Of course, when one becomes pregnant, they choose the load of work and areas of work where they desire in order to continue to work as much as they can. This is one. And we also provide meal. Each worker gets a free meal every day. And for some workers, that's the only meal they could have throughout the day. So we provide that meal. And that's a sense of satisfaction. As factory owners, where my dad, he started from nothing. So he has been sleeping in a factory to survive. So he has been eating leftover foods to survive. So he really feels that employees need to be taken care of. So we provide free lunch for all workers, as well as the medical care. This is very important. And other than that, of course, we also go beyond the workers, where the workers' area of living is. So we go around 30-kilometer radius outside of our factory, where we have renovated the mother and child care health centers that are run by the government. So around 30-kilometer radius, we have renovated about 4 medical care centers, easily accessible. We have built 2 schools for the students and the children up to 8th grade. One is up to 4th grade. And that way they continue. And we support them fully with the uniform and the school materials that are required. In that way, the sustainability of the factory continues to the next generation.
One more thing, quickly. Your workers also stay a long time with you. It's not that they're coming for 2 years and then leaving, no?
Yes.
So, and I think you have a good example of someone who went up all the ladder of seniority.
Of course, one of the things we do is we create a career path. So we have a lot of workers that have grown to a higher level. Just one example was she was employed as a cleaner in the factory, but she was working in the cutting department who have slowly developed a cutting skill, and she finally was able to replace our expat from Pakistan, and she now runs the whole cutting department. That is a success story. And we have others who have grown into a quality control in charge, replacing expats which were from Bangladesh. So they have really grown and developed a career path. Some have been married and grown their children. So it's to see another family is really a sense of joy that gives you the energy to keep on moving.
And of course, it reduces costs.
Of course. Efficiency is better.
Yes. Now if there's no questions on Ethiopia, feel free. I have the microphone. Then we move to Nepal. The stand is over there. Dan Lamichami is from the Nepal Fiber Processing Company. And this is a kind of a success story in Nepal. Because you may all know Pashmina, and you may have a certain reputation with it. But the cashmere coming from Nepal was used to be based on imported yarn that's coming from Mongolia and from China. Now they have created for the first time an entire supply chain within the country. Because you have goats, they call it Chiangra goats, in the Himalayas, lots of. But the farmers do not harvest the goats, or if they the fiber. And if they harvest it, it maybe goes over the border to Tibet, to China. Now you started, for the first time, your own supply chain. How did you do it, and how do you make sure that the farmers get a good price for their fiber, that the goats are treated well, and also how is the entire supply chain then afterwards been organized?
Okay, thank you, Matthias. And let's introduce myself. I'm in this Kashmir Pashmina business from 25 years, and from farm to fiber to fashion. And I born in Himalayan area. Before that, I know about the Kashmiri goats and how, when I was in young and child at that time I saw. And when I came in Kathmandu for the education at that time, I saw the industry and they are making the Kashmir Pashmina shawl to export, and it's very high quality. Before I don't have the idea about the Kashmir. And then Nepal is dependent for the raw material, and Nepal is importing raw material from the China, Mongolia. But now in Nepal is Himalayan country, the Mount Everest is in Nepal. We are, coming from all the way from the Himalaya, high altitude. And there are 3.3 million hectares of the pasture land, huge, pasture land, and we can keep the millions of the goat, Kashmir goat, and you can get the raw material from, sustainable, the supply chain there. And under the ITC support also, we have organized so many training in Himalaya, and we support those, underprivileged and farmers and the families, and how to keep the goats and how can we utilize the Kashmir fiber and the value of the Kashmir fiber, that we train and we supply the technology, instrument, and we educate them. And now all Himalayan peoples are very happy with us, and we need to go so big area, and it's difficult to go because there is no road. We have to walk. As altitude is 5,500 meter altitude, and their livelihood, peoples are dependent with Kashmir goat, and goats are dependent with the human, and it's normally nomadic life. And in the pasture land, when the one villagers need to travel mile to mile to sorting the grass, also that now we have a collection center in Himalayan area that we are supporting them, and we are dependent with them and they are dependent with us. It's a very good, the connection, and our supply chain is so strong that gradually we are increasing the production. And also the first time in the Nepal, and we installed the de-herring facility. It's the de-herring means the guard here, vegetable matters, and the fine Kashmir separation process that, before Nepalese people is using the hand separation, the technology, but it's handmade, but now we have a de-herring facility in Kathmandu, and farmers supply the Kashmir fiber to Kathmandu, and then our manufacturer in Kathmandu, our small industries who make pashmina, and they supply to the European market and American market, Japanese market, that, we are here, that you can see the Kashmir stall in front of me, that I'm wearing my Kashmir from my country, that I make this in my factory. So, Matthias, we have a very strong and a good connection with our farmers, and we have got gifted land, the big, 3.3 million hectares of the pasture land. Only 3 months is covered by the snow. At that time, we need to arrange the additional food for the goats, and farmers do not have the option. They don't have the option, they depend on the cattle farming and the goat farming, and they are dependent that we have to support. And if we buy the Kashmir shawl from there, and we support for their food, and for education, for health, that, and all our manufacturers are happy to buy, the Nepalese goods. And also everywhere you can see the serious story, they are dependent in this, and our buyer also happy, and many people want to go there. And So we are very thankful with the ITC and FCDO, the program that we hired some scientists, some expert from the Britain, and some Kashmiri manufacturer from Bradford, Aberdeen, and they went there and they trained now. So we have we are supporting the farmer, and farmer are supporting us, and we have very strong and the relations for supply chain. It's a sustainable business and eco-friendly. We don't use the chemical. Normally, we have a natural color, very beautiful color that we send our Kashmiri quality, for the test in laboratory from 160 different area, different altitude, and 800 sample. We get very, very good, the report from there. Our Kashmir fiber diameter is 11, 12, 13. Below 15 microns is like, similar like the Mongolian Kashmir. It's better than Mongolian Kashmir. But, so this is the situation for...
Okay, we have 3 minutes, 40 seconds. Any questions? I can ask you, please.
Well, thank you, three of you, for these stories, sharing this. My question is, do you measure the success of this inclusive